Let's make sweets for Diwali. So today we are going to make coconut burfi and dry fruits and nuts laddu. We are going to start off with coconut burfi only because this takes time to set. We want it to set a little bit before we can slice it. I've got all the ingredients for coconut burfi here. Let's get started. So I'm going to use desiccated coconut. You can definitely use fresh coconut. I've got 2 cups of desiccated coconut here, 2 cups of brown sugar, 1 cup of milk. You can swap it with maybe half cup of cream or something. I'm just using 1 cup of full fat milk. I've added some saffron threads, that's optional. I've got cardamom powder and vanilla essence, again optional. We like the flavor of it, that's why I'm adding it. And to top, I've got some nuts and some rose petals. We'll be like chopping it and then just garnishing it at the top. So I've got all of this. Ghee to grease the pan, ghee to grease your tray or container where you're going to store. A very flat bottom pan. I'm just going to add little bit of ghee so it doesn't like stick. This is a non-stick one that I've took. I have some non-stick cookware, but I don't use them. I've swapped, like I've started using just cast iron for most of my cooking, but I do have some non-stick from before. So I've taken this pan, I've added little bit of ghee. Okay, I'm going to start off with adding my desiccated coconut. Let's roast that for a bit. So next I'm going to add in the sugar and the milk. Sugar will leave water. If you're using like regular coconut, not desiccated one, like proper fresh coconut, you may not need as much milk. Maybe half a cup or even quarter cup should be enough. This is one of the quickest desserts that you can make. I mean, the making time is quick, the setting time is there, but yeah, one of the quickest ones that you can make. You don't have to use fresh coconut as such. I know the taste will differ, but there's only so much we can do when we don't live in India. Consistency that we are looking for is this mixture to thicken, which means all the sugar needs to melt and it needs to come out of the side, like it will come out of the sides. I'll show you what I mean. That's the consistency that we are after. At that point, we'll be adding some cardamom powder and vanilla essence. Again, vanilla essence is optional. So our mixture has started to thicken. Whilst it is not fully done, at this stage I'm going to add some cardamom powder and some vanilla essence. I have about half teaspoon. I'm just going to add half teaspoon, maybe a little bit more of cardamom powder and a little bit of vanilla. While the mixture is thickening, I am just greasing this tray. I'm going to set coconut burfi in this tray and I'll also store here in the same one. This has a lid, it's from Pyrex brand. So we have our greased tray here. People line it with baking sheet. I haven't. So back in the day, our mums would do it in a plate. So they wouldn't have a tray or anything like that. So they'll just apply ghee to a plate, ghee or coconut oil or something to a plate and pour the mixture into a plate. I'm also going to top it with some chopped nuts. We chopped some pistachios and cashews. It's starting to set already. For some color, I'm also going to garnish it with some rose petals. So we have garnished. I'm going to let it sit on the counter for some time so it sets and it's still warm. While it's still warm, I'll just cut it and keep. And I'll just close with the lid and that's how I'm going to store this. And we'll just serve off this. The next sweet we are going to make is nuts and dry fruit laddu. When I say fruit, I'm just using dates. our coconut barfi is setting at the back. So for the nuts and dry fruit laddu, I've got some nuts here. I've got 250 grams each of walnuts, cashews and almonds. I've got 100 grams of pumpkin seeds and 100 grams of sunflower seeds. I've got about 250 grams of dates as well. These are medjool dates. They are sweet, on the sweeter side. You may need more, but we don't like our sweets very sweet, so I'm just settling for 250 grams of medjool dates. I've removed the pits and I've soaked it in hot water. And as usual, we've got cardamom powder for that flavor. The first step is to dry roast all these nuts. I'll start off with the bigger nuts. So I'm going to turn on the flame and dry roast cashews, almonds and walnuts, and then I'll turn off the flame, and just in that heat, because this is cast iron skillet that I'm using, just in that heat this will get roasted. So I just want to make sure all the moisture is removed out of these nuts. So let's start off by dry roasting our nuts. I'm adding all these bigger nuts. It's possible some of them will get roasted more than others, but it's okay. So I'm done roasting the nuts. I've also turned off the flame. With whatever heat is left in the pan, I'm just going to quickly roast the seeds. So in whatever heat is left in the pan, we'll just use that to toast the seeds. So it's been some time since we have poured our coconut barfi mix into the tray. I'm just going to cut it now while it's still warm. So we'll leave it for a few hours for it to set properly. So while our nuts are cooling down a little bit, nuts and seeds that is, I'm going to start making a paste of dates. So I told you earlier I'd soaked dates, medjool dates in hot water. I've drained the water and let's make a paste now. So I'm using our Indian mixie for this. So this is our date mix. So I've also added the roasted seeds in this, and we have our mix here. We've got all the roasted nuts and seeds in this. I'm going to blend it all together in Ninja, but because my Ninja is not as big, I'm going to make it in 2 batches. So I've added almost half, like 1 batch of it. I'm also going to add about half of the date paste we have. I have a feeling this will not be sweet at all, but it's okay. If required, we'll add some honey or something. Anyway, let's do our first batch. I forgot to add something, so I'm just going to add here. I'm adding about half teaspoon of cardamom powder in this. When I'm blending the other batch, I'll add another half teaspoon. So I've pulsed it for a few times, and this is the consistency that we are settling in. I just tried making one laddu and it holds, and Karthik feels like he wants to bite while he's having the laddu. So we're going to settle with this consistency. If you guys want it more powdery form, definitely pulse a bit more, but we want it more like coarse and crunchy. That's why we're settling in this consistency. So I'll do another batch now. I've ground both the batches, and this is our mix. Now the next job is to turn them into laddus. I'll show you how I'm doing it. I'm not applying ghee or anything to my hands, only because the nuts have a lot of oil in them. And if you see, my hands are also not sticking as much. So I'm going to make a few for the purposes of this video and then go and start cooking some lunch. I have to make rasam and beans and carrot puriyal. I'm going to let my husband finish off making the laddus, and then I'll be back and finish off the outro. So we made about 2 sweets in about an hour. We also filmed while doing this, so if we are not filming, you're not going to take as long. Please do try this recipes for this festive seasons and let me know how you go in the comments below. Wishing you a very happy and a prosperous Diwali. Please spend time with your friends and family with some treats, new clothes and whatever else makes you happy. The next episode is going to be about savories, so you definitely want to stay tuned to our channel. I'll see you in another one. Bye, and don't forget to subscribe.